snow was gone, but we've had rain in the last few days, and this is the first opportunity that I've had to come down to the allotment, and the wind is picking up. I think there's probably a storm brewing, so it's best to take shelter in the shed. Just approached the greenhouse and found that my terracotta pot in bits on the floor. I think what may have happened is one of the cats might have come in to have tried to get the cat food from up there, because the pot was on that tray, on that shelf, and must have tipped it over. I'll clean that mess up in a moment. I thought I'd have a look at my potatoes, and so far, look at them. They seem to have come through the frosty nights. I did cover them in that bubble plastic, this stuff here, and that's really good for keeping the potatoes frost free. Now, I had a parcel that turned up this morning, and I've got some Alliums, nice bright coloured flowers. I grew some of these last year and they were wonderful, especially in May, so I'll put some more of them in once the weather's calmed down, maybe in the next few weeks. But I've been sent some more potatoes. Now, I can't tell you what the variety is because this hasn't got a name. I was sent them by Thompson Morgan, and all I know is that they have a excellent flavour and are a main crop variety. And what the idea is that I grow these this year and send my report into Thompson & Morgan to tell them how they did on our allotment, and then you'll be able to buy these in the shop next year. I'll be able to tell you what the name of these are at the end of the year. So I'm going to do the same thing with these as I did with my other potatoes. I'm going to lay them in a mushroom box and chit them, but keeping an eye on the frost. Right, let's go and tidy that mess up.
The rhubarb is starting to make an appearance. Once the crown has been established, say after 3 years, you can then force it. And all you have to do is to exclude the light. Now, the easiest way is to put a bin on top and make sure that it's firm to the ground. And then when harvest time comes, you'll have fantastic sticks of red and pink rhubarb. Wonderful.
It's starting to rain now. Maybe one day soon we'll get some sunshine and I'll be able to get out and actually do some work on the actual plot. Anyway, I'm in the shed. I was just tidying a few little shelves up, and I came across this book that I picked up last year by Gregg Becker called the Allotment Alphabet. Now, about 2 years ago, I featured Gregg on one of our videos back then. Let's have a quick reminder.
The idea for my blog kind of evolved naturally out of enjoying being here and enjoying drawing. The two things kind of go together, but one day I was up here and just started doing some drawing, and that sort of evolved into me doing a whole series of things about the things that happen. I tried to come up sort of at least 3 hours a week, and I spread out through the week. I must admit, don't get a lot of time to actually sit and really enjoy being here, but it's, you know, it's more what I take away with me, you know, sort of the inspiration of coming up here, and I always get an idea for something. I used to have a compost heap here, and I was digging it one day and I suddenly realised I'd got a hedgehog on the end of my fork. That hasn't become a picture yet, but it was certainly an interesting moment. And I realised there was actually a nest of hedgehogs inside the compost heap, so I had to carefully put it all back. So there's these tiny baby little hedgehogs. Just over there, the other day I was pruning the apple tree, and I noticed as I was doing it, there was a little frog sitting there watching me, and it just stayed there for the whole time that I was pruning the tree. And so I turned that one into an entry as well. Now that's interesting. That's definitely worthy of a drawing. That crack is not only a nice shape, but it's perfectly dividing the red and the white onions. Could be turned into a little plot entry. I might call it the Great Divide or something like that, or Onion Apartheid. Now that's actually quite interesting because the white onions are going to seed, whereas the red ones are not. Which is usually the other way round. I think out of all the illustration work that I do, I enjoy doing my allotment pictures most. There's so many aspects to allotments and vegetable growing and the wildlife that happens on the plot, you know, the different people you meet. It just seems very limitless, really. I admire people that keep very tidy plots, but I like the scruffiness and I like the, you know, the sort of, the kind of ugly bits, I suppose, sometimes the most interesting visually. Everything's interesting if you look at it in a certain way, but here, because it's just very slightly wild and you know, it's very different from places that most people spend most of their time.
The spring bulbs are also showing through the earth, and it's a good sign to see them. Spring is not that far away. It was so windy I had to put the camera in the greenhouse and film through the glass. Now, this hosepipe, I have it to go into the pond just to top it up when the water level is a bit low. So I thought I'd bury it just to protect it from frost. So all I've got to do is just thread the hosepipe under the piece of wood, cover it back over, and then tidy it up on the pond end. It may be the depth of winter, but the flower bed is starting to spurt back into life. And to see me building this, pop along to my second channel, which is Sean's Allotment Garden. With this wind, everything's flying everywhere, so it's time to clean the pond and make it nice and habitable for the fish and the frog.
Now, last week in the UK, the BBC broadcast a programme called Allotment Wars, which was about allotments, and it mainly concentrated on the arguments that some allotment holders have with each other. If you think that an allotment site is just a microcosm of society and not everybody gets on with each other, and the programme didn't go down very well with people who have allotments. In fact, they thought the programme would turn new allotment holders off. Well, a few days after that broadcast, I had an email from a man called Nick, and he sent me this DVD today called Digging for Victory. Now, Nick is trying to help the allotment community out by showing a positive side, so he sent me this disc for me to have a quick look at it.
John Mower has been a loyal supporter of the show for many, many years. He's won many cups. I should think he's won most of the cups for most of the sections in the show over the years.
These are my marrows. Some shows you have one, sometimes you have the pair. And obviously you have a pair that's a bit more difficult because you need to get them uniformity so that they're more or less the same size.
So you quite often grow the mammoth stuff?
Yeah, that's my forte, the mammoth stuff. I think it started when my dad was, when he was competing. And it started off with 3 onions about 11 years ago. And I said, anything you can grow, I can grow bigger. So then sort of the bug bit me then. Okay, away. A trophy I've won for the last 10 years on the trot. But this year I haven't got enough stuff to, so give somebody else a chance this year.
Later in the year, Nick is hoping that he can bring this out on DVD for everybody to see. But in the meantime, over the next few months, it will be going around the world in the various film festivals and showing a positive side to allotments. I'll see you next time. Ground is still soggy at the moment, so there'll be no work done for a few days. The weather looks good for the next 3 or 4 days, so hopefully everything will dry out. There's the pond, looking fantastic.